market recap for 25th of August 2025, Monday. So last week we closed very bullish, I guess, right? Taking two previous daily highs and going to the CE of this fair value gap, daily fair value gap. Right, with doing that, we left a big wick, and this wick is the CE, right? That I have this line of. So if we're gonna have any bullish price action for this week, we can't lose that, right? Or I would expect that to be a draw, right? Or not closing below it. Do I think that's gonna happen? Absolutely not. I still think these lows now and this low is our targets for this week. So let me explain why, right? If we're looking at a daily time frame, where we're at, we are essentially at a unicorn, right? Which is this busy CB, I mean, and this breaker block. So this is very strong, especially on the daily time frame, to send this low, right? And the fact that we are not closing above the CE of this gap. So let me show you on this, for example, on the daily time frame. As you can see, I have the gap highlighted. There's another one with the volume imbalance. There's ones with that volume imbalance. But regardless, this orange line is the CE of this whole daily gap. And this blue line is the wick. And as you can see, today we went up to this wick and then dropped down, right? So on the daily time frame, we are still bearish on the bearish idea, right? And the only thing that stops us from being bearish is us right now. As you can see, we're open for Tuesday. We're starting to drop down. We had an inside day, so we didn't take previous daily high or previous daily low, which is kind of expected because how manipulated this day was. And we're still keeping the bearish idea, creating this balanced price range. If we go ahead today and close below this, right, mainly is like, I don't know, I guess the rejection block or something, but a closure below this, I'm really just targeting the lows and these lows really for this week, if that's the case. So Tuesday is either gonna be a low of the week to push higher, or this was high of the week and we're just gonna keep pushing lower. So I'll find out. Really, you can't really tell until whenever you want to trade, New York or London time, but I'm gonna just stick to trading what I see in New York. Alright, let's drop down to the lower time frame, see what actually happens, right? So this chart just has like the new weekly opening gaps, the new daily opening gaps, 5 new weekly opening gaps, 10 new daily opening gaps, as ICT teaches. Anyway, what we do this morning is, as you can see, what do we have? We have our breaker, like the main thing, right? With this whole gap, with Mr. Powell speaking out here, dashing us all the way up, like how many handles? So we have a gap and we have our breaker block. So this high, what we do is go drop down to the breaker and pre-market we engineer sell side liquidity for us at 9:30 to go all the way down to the breaker, which is the bottom of this new weekly opening gap, right? So if you look at drop down even lower, as you can see, we go manipulate down at 9:30, up and down. I mean up to just take this liquidity and then drop all the way down, creating a Judah basically till 9:33 where we hit it, and the bodies are closing above it. It's just a little mohawk. I'm not sure where it was getting, but you don't need to know really. Anyway, so when price drops like this and then closes and then goes again and then starts rallying up, I'm like, okay, this is Judah. I'm already looking at these clean buy side liquidity. I think midnight open is somewhere down here as well, and another buy side, right? Like, if I remember correctly, I had my sell, right, all the way up here and to down here. I'll explain this, I'll try and some, but this breaker is basically my target from selling from that high, right? So let's get to the technicals of the day, I guess, to how would you see and trade this day, right? So we need to know where we're at in this gap and in terms of this week, right, as PD arrays to trade the daily, I mean, no, to trade intraday, right? To see what we're respecting, what we're not respecting, right? So you can see like the short that I took on Friday that played all the way till Monday. I think I just closed it down here, but the target was basically the breaker. This is just like this orange thing. I don't have my stuff labeled out because I know what they are, but like I'll go around and explain what they're. So this is just the breaker on the 1 minute. I'm taking the highest high on the 1 minute and just drawing it out. So as you can see, this if I put something like this actually trade out took on like, I don't know, top step or something like that. So I saw us manipulating down is either to this low or to the breaker pre-market here, right? And I was like, I do not want to trade Monday, so I might as well take this. So obvious, right? Tight stop loss, 3 contracts, 1.5k for the day, done before 9:30 bell. Just a simple trade, basically, just to target initial buy side or sell side liquidity. Expecting us to distribute higher, so I'm just trying to just jump into the manipulation. Alright, so that was my trade. Very, very tight stop loss. Very confident in it. And you can see inverse gap. If you drop down to the 15 seconds, you can see many, many other confluences for it to not go above there. I like pre-market because pre-market like gives you accuracy. And you know, you can have very, very tight stop losses. Anyway, so that was the trade for the day. So I made my money. I didn't care about all of this, right? But we need to see what he was doing, or if anyone's watching this, like, I guess I'll drop a model here as well, like for Monday. Like, if I didn't find this pre-market trade and I really wanted to trade the Monday with like barely any news, it's like an orange folder, how would I have done this, right? So the fact that we drop down and we just keep these relative equal highs and whatever, right? And the fact that we drop down with a Judah. See, when we open, mark out your opens, just check out how we open, right? If we open with a Judah, not a sweep is somewhat like to here, like if we swept and start going up, but this is a full-on Judah. Mark out the high to the low and then work out your 2.25 and 2.5, right? You'll notice that is almost always the target for the day, right? And what's cool with Monday, the Judah is normally smaller, so sometimes we do reach the target very quickly at lunch, and if we do that, there's a whole model for it to just fade the whole day, right? So I guess I'll drop that late. I'll show you that later, but let's explain how all it traded, right? On paper, I think I was in the 15 seconds, right? If you saw that execution, right? Normal day, I'm seeing this as a unicorn, right? Breaker goes up, right? But ES had SMT and I didn't see that, so I was just trying to catch a sweep of this low and stop loss right here, and I bought it and I pyramided again here when it swept it, and then just caught my stop loss. That's just me testing out one of the models that I'm developing, so I took it on paper. But how would I trade the day? Let's say I actually traded and this test, whatever, it fails, right? So what do we do? I'm still looking for bullish price action unless we drop and close below this breaker, which is, if you remember, is the low of the new weekly opening gap. But no, we don't. We go straight to the rejection block. If you see the opening price and the low is to the tick, right? So we go to the rejection block. Boom. Once we go to the rejection block, I'm trying to see, are we going to start supporting the bullish idea? So the fact that we manipulate that hard, it's just absurd, right? All the way to the rejection block from this high, it's crazy, but that's what happens on Mondays. So we go down 15-second fair value gap. We're respecting the upper, the consequent encouragement. We're not going below that, and we start rallying. You can see the order block, which is on the 15-second. Okay, they're both there, but like on the 15-second, right? We're not closing below here, but it's mainly the 1-minute order block that I'm marking, which is right here. We go straight down to it, boom, and then now when we hit that PD array, are we gonna like have an energized run up higher, right? Like, are we gonna create gaps? Boom, you go down to the 15-second again. We hit the order block, another 15-second CE, run up, come back to it, run up, right? Like, let's say you missed this, cool, and then that really should be the entry, right? This is like one confirmation, rejection block, second confirmation, a 15-second gap, third confirmation, right? And then by the time we hear what's most likely, you see in highs with the overall idea of us going up because people making money from like the Friday dump, right? Like, last result, this should be your entry on the 15-second. If you're not using the 15-second, just, I don't know, this order block, something. Anyway, then we start going up and up and up all the way till the relative equal highs, and also the midpoint, right? The midpoint of what? Our opening range gap, exactly at 10, which, like ICT says, we're going to reach that midpoint 70% of the time between 9:30 and 10. Cool. That could be a trade, or you could be extending for, if you know the targets, 2, 2.25, and 2.5, all your targets, and you need to know what makes sense. So if we're going to extend, we need to follow the order flow. So if I'm going to put my target, the maximum is 2.5, right? And this is the low. Let's think about our, how do we say it? Think about the range. That hasn't happened yet, right? But like, as long as we're in discount, we can enter. But the second that we hit premium, the PDA arrays are gonna fail, large retracement, blah blah blah. You can see this clearly actually, right? Like, this dealing range, right, we'll project it, or like we can kind of guess the dealing range by going to the target. And you can see the second that we're above this, look at the bullshit. Below this, I mean, since here, not this just a manipulation pace, but since here, look how clean it goes, even down to the 15 seconds. Up here, PD array is failing. So if you're trying to enter here, you're just gambling. I'll just give it a buck. So now we know our range. Let's say you missed this, or let's say you exited and you're trying to enter. Your last thing, as you can see, that I marked out is the order block up down here, right? So from this order block, we go down, fill this gap, institution order flow, entry drill, like barely touch it, and then sky high, right? Like, if we gonna go down, it's just the order block, really. It's the wick, right? You want to see if there's any reaction there, or the order block. You see that? Probably another 15-second gap, whatever. Boom, entry, stop loss down there, and now you trailed everything all the way to here, because this is at a discount and you wouldn't want price to go down here. So you'd feel your stop loss safe. It's next to your target that you already hit. You're not like giving away too much back to the market. If it retraces. But if it doesn't and your narrative is right, which in case it was for this day, what do we go all the way up to? We hit the 2, that's a partial. 2.25, that's a partial. But remember, we need to make these targets make sense, right? What's next to 2.25? The daily CE of Friday. Remember that wick? Anything in blue is a wick. So that's a daily wick. And we're bearish. So, and we took buy side, buy side, buy side, buy side, right? And buy side. And at the same time, we have put bodies over our new weekly opening gap. So, is it likely to reverse from 2.25 or 2.5? You know what? It could actually do both, but I would allow it to do any, right, before jumping in. So if you can see here and here, there is an SMT, right? Like if it was gonna go higher with this run to 2.25, it would have went there and then wicked very fast under this C, right? But ES done an SMT, so right there, I know that's the high of the day, right? If you zoom very, very closely, you're gonna see that it couldn't even get to it, right? It was like 0.25 away. But you always need to make sure they've been hit. How do you check? You have to check with MNQ. MNQ hits it, and this is what I'm talking about later, right? So once we see that, and this whole orange shaded area is our gap that we have been respecting, right? You see, we're not, since Friday, we're not even closing above it, right? We're not closing above. I'm not sure. Did I mess up the gap? Yeah, I messed it up. Yeah, we're not closing above it, right? And this gap is the unicorn gap. We extend it all the way to the breaker. This is very strong. If we're going down, we're going down from here, right? And you can see we're definitely reacting to it. So I'm not expecting these highs to be taken out. And as you can see, we're not closing above the CE of it, right? Not even in the 1 minute. I mean, a little mohawk here and there, but here, complete respect. And once you see it smacked right there and drops, creating a fair value gap, that's the fade model right there. Once we hit our target early at lunch, right? Like the fade, like if it dropped like this, broke the structure, the fade would have been somewhere here, but you'd allow for the max target, which is 2.5, but it didn't improve. Boom, you take this and you take it to the low of the day, right? Oh, the low of like 9:30, or what basically started the run, which are these lows. As you can see, market was held up for this day. Like we went all the way down to where did we go down to? We went down to this low. This is the low of the daily fair value gap, right? We could not reach this low in time, but I don't know why we got held up, but this is still the model's target if you're allowed to keep your position. As you can see, like boom, you know, this is the target for this model. Like I know that low is gonna get hit. The fact that we went down, this is a wick, cool, but now we close below the breaker. I don't know why Asia's moving this crazy as well, like goddamn. But we close below the breaker, we take previous daily low. This could be the high of the week, or high of the week for now, or whatever, until we reach our like sell side targets. I don't know, but I would not consider this buy side liquidity, right? Anyway, we go up, we reach our target early in the launch macro. You take anything to sell that makes sense, right? Especially something like an SMT right there. When we hit the day, like come on, as an obvious play, it looks garbage today, but if you backtest it on other days, like It's there. It's there. No, just look for it on a Monday if you really don't. If you can't tell what Monday's doing, right? Me personally, I wouldn't trade it. Don't care for it, but that's something if you want to research it. But anyway, clean delivery, clean delivery, clean delivery, clean delivery. You just need to know by the time we reach 0.5 of our range. That's it. Don't try like push your stop loss. Let the target get hit. Start practicing that. Cool. Now that we hit both targets for the day, well, we had to extend it to Asia somehow to get the target. Where am I at? Right now I'm neutral. Right? I'm not seeing no respect to this breaker normal, but the fact that we went through it is already bearish to me. Right? Like I'd expect us to treat the breaker and break the high, right? That's what we normally do with a breaker, but a breaker swinging us and failing to take previous daily high just shows us that we're respecting the bigger breaker and fair value gap, which is the unicorn, on the daily time frame. And I would not expect these highs to get taken, and if they do get taken, such a slight wick or manipulation, as in, as you can see on this day, we took previous daily low and then short for previous daily high, but that was the direction to go to. I don't really expect us to, now that we took previous daily low, to go take previous daily high to then drop. So if I don't like what I'm seeing tomorrow, I'm gonna be out of it. And yeah, I think that's it for the recap. Let me just double check the other chart if anything's missed. Yeah, also with the same trade, you can see like it's supported with the new weekly opening gap, the CE, the top of the new weekly opening gap to another new weekly opening gap, over and over in it, and then we don't have the SMT, give up the ghost, and just start dropping slowly, but we are dropping. Targets are hit, and yeah, and now we're just gonna be under on this gap, and then just check out for tomorrow. So if we're gonna go from that gap, from this gap to where we're gonna go to this new weekly opening gap, and that will be the low of the day here. It's gonna, tomorrow is gonna be tricky. That's all I can say. Anyway, that's enough yap, and hope you learned something. Peace.